Hi everyone. In this lesson, we're going to update the files that I gave you and that you have already uploaded to your host server. My class folder contains two subfolders. The first is Htdocs, which is a copy of the files that I have already given you. This is your class website. Files that get transferred to your hosting account. The other folder, the working files folder, is where I keep other stuff that I may need, like raw photos, ideas, Photoshop files, instructions, or just other files that I need to create a website, but that are not the actual website pages. You'll probably want to do the same. First, let's talk about Htdocs. As you already know, Infinity Free uses a folder called Htdocs. And the folder I gave you to use as a template is called the same thing. I intentionally used the same name to avoid confusion. In reality, though, you could use any name that you wanted to use. Htdocs is a root folder. A root folder is the main folder that website files live in. As long as all folders inside of a root folder are copied in the exact same way from one location to another, like from your computer to the server to a USB drive, an external hard drive, whatever, all the links inside that website folder will still work. What that means is that the pages, the images, all the different files are able to locate each other when you click on those links. Inside the Htdocs folder is another folder called ArtDM171. This folder contains class-specific files. What's the difference between Htdocs and ArtDM171? I mean, aren't they both for this class? Sure. But one is your main website, and one is just the section for this class. It's your website that contains your web design work. So let's consider an example. Let's say you're a graphic designer and you need a portfolio website. You might have a website that has different links in it to sections like your bio, all of your graphic design work, another section for your web design work, your contact information, and of course there's always a homepage. So all of the web design specific is going to be in the ArtDM171 folder. In that Htdocs, you can then create other folders, maybe for graphic design, for your bio, for your photography, etc. So ArtDM171 is just a section within this entire website. The main page of any website is the home page. The home page is the very first index.html page that you'll see inside of the Htdocs folder. By default, this is what your browser is looking for. Type in a domain name like starbucks.com and you'll go to the home page. That home page is the index.html page. A browser never needs the index.html typed into it because it's default. It knows to look for that page as the very first page. It will, though, need all of the other HTML pages typed in. They aren't searched by default, and they can be named anything you want. So let's look inside our ArtDM171 folder. You've got a contact page where you're going to provide contact information. You've got a CSS folder that will contain your style sheets that you'll be creating later in the class. An images folder. This contains all of your website images. A labs folder that's going to hold your assignments that I ask you to upload and link to. And a projects folder. The webjump.html page, that's the main page of your web design section. This page is also called a jump page. It's going to link to your labs and projects in this class. So to recap, the home page or index page, it links to all sections in your website. However, your web design section only contains this classwork. That's your ArtDM171 folder. Now, let's take a look at naming conventions. This is really important. Not following proper naming rules for web design, guys, is going to mean that you're going to have broken links, there will be panic, and your websites won't work. So just be sure to keep it simple and follow these instructions to make your life easier, especially while you're first learning. So the first thing is case matters. I can't emphasize that enough. Case matters. I highly suggest using only lowercase letters in your website files to avoid many, many common problems. While the files on your personal computer are really forgiving, the ones that you transfer to the web are not. You may have mistakenly used the wrong case for a letter, like a capital I, and you meant to use a lowercase I, but on your computer everything works just fine. The problem is when you copy all of those pages up to the web, all of a sudden everything's broken and you're trying to figure out how come your links no longer work. So to be on the safe side, just try using all lowercase letters. Next, never use special characters or leave spaces in file names. Replace any spaces that you need with a dash or an underscore. Special characters and spaces will also break your links. So what do these pages look like in a browser? Let's take a look. One way to check your work is to just drag your file from your folder into your browser. I do this all the time. So here's our contact page. And here's the jump page. Notice how I started the lists to the class assignments. You'll update those and add links throughout the course. And here's the home page for your website, sometimes also called splash pages or landing pages. And finally, in this lesson, we're going to update the placeholder headings in each of the pages. So let's start by opening the class in VS Code. Remember to go to Choose Open, find the Htdocs folder on your computer, and select Open. All of the files in that folder are shown on the left side of the VS Code application frame. Let's take a look at the contact page by clicking on contact.html on the left. So in the code, let's replace the placeholder text that is located between the H1 tags. These are header tags, and you want to put in your actual name. So I can type in Tina Howland. And to help me see what's going on in this page, I'm going to go up here and choose View, Word Wrap, to wrap the text in this line, making it easier to read. Also, please make note of the title tags up here. You're going to need to add or update them in all of your future assignments. We'll leave them as is for now. And please repeat the process for the other pages in your website. Remember to see your work in the browser as you're going along. To refresh the page, you may need to click on the bottom where it says Port if that has replaced the Go Live text. Okay, that's it. So up next, we have more fun stuff.